planet that rules structure, time, big corporations, governments, age, teeth and bones, is going to change sign in December of this year, 2017. And it stays in Capricorn pretty much until the December of 2020. So this is extremely important, because when Saturn is in its own sign, it's its sign of rulership, Saturn is very happy in Capricorn. So this means that this is going to be a very strong transit, and one in which you can powerfully restructure your life. You can look at all the structures you've got in your life. It will be very valuable to look at where does it fall in your chart. Maybe it's falling in your first house, just coming across your ascendant. This happens every 28, 29 years, where there can be a complete restructuring of your life, where you really just almost feel as though you're starting from ground zero again and building something up. Maybe it's happening in your second house of money, and you're restructuring how you use money. Your third house, well, you might be learning something and taking a very serious course of study that will really help you with your career in some way. If it's your fourth house, well, that could be a restructuring of your home. You might downsize, you might move, you might change your environment in some way, you might start to work from home. If it's in your fifth house, this would be a very good time for establishing a business of your own, for really working hard at it. But the advantage with Saturn is you can really create something solid. So anything that is created during this 3-year period, end of December 2017 until December 2020, has got a really good chance of lasting for a very long time. If it's transiting your sixth house, you might be restructuring your work and also your physical health, your physical well-being. Sometimes there can be challenges here, but also it can be a wonderful time for really putting into place some very good practices and discipline as far as your physical well-being is concerned. Now, what if it's falling in your seventh house of relationships? Well, in the seventh house, it can mean a completion, an ending of a relationship, but it can also mean a stabilizing of a relationship getting more serious. It may also be a relationship that you need to work very hard on, but if you are willing to work hard at it, then the rewards can be great. Maybe it's transiting your eighth house, and in the eighth house you may be dealing with your partner's finances. You might be dealing with restructuring your finances on a wider level, your taxes, your insurance, your health insurance. You might be restructuring, looking a little deeper about trusting people, allowing people more close to you. What are the issues that keep you separate from others? What if it's transiting your ninth? Well, you might do some serious foreign business. You might be traveling for business, for work, and you may move country. You may also find a new structure for your spiritual growth. And as Saturn moves upwards, this is often a time where there is a culmination of success for a career, if you've been working towards something assiduously. Because in the 10th house, this can bring recognition, appreciation, promotion, and also it can be a restructuring of your career. You might just say, well, I've had enough of this particular career path and it's time to release what I've been doing and start something different. If it's in your 11th house of friendships, well, a friendship may come to an end. You may bring a relationship that's perhaps been an acquaintance for a while into something a little more serious. You may also find yourself in a leadership position with a group or a community. And if it's transiting your 12th house, it's time for releasing, for surrendering, for letting go, for allowing Spirit Source to integrate all the things that you've been doing for however long you've been alive. For you newer ones, you may not have been alive 28, 29 years, but if you have, then there's a releasing of a 28-year period, just a letting go of the past, an understanding, a willingness to see how far you've come, and at the same time allowing whatever the higher universe, your higher self wants for you, and allowing that to come through. It can be a period of tremendous spiritual growth. So that takes you, just gives you a flavour for Saturn around a chart, because it's such a powerful time. I do think we'll have an opportunity during this 3-year period. I think there will be inroads into time travel, our understanding of time, how we use time, aging, the aging process, how we take care of old people. Japan seems to be the one country in the world that has that really way ahead of others, and interestingly, many people there live longer than people in other countries around the world. So looking at how we're dealing with an aging population, there could be some breakthroughs in osteoporosis, anything to do with the bones, anything to do with prosthetics, anything to do with dentistry. There could be tremendous breakthroughs in dentistry. After all, they've been saying that using stem cells, we can grow more teeth. That's got to be a lot less invasive than current methods of dentistry. So there could be some real leaps forward. Very often, ideas that have been on the table for a long time can become crystallized when Saturn is in Capricorn. Governments and corporations, big corporations, are ruled by Capricorn. So don't be surprised, because Capricorn also rules integrity. Where there has been a lack of integrity, chances are there can be changes in government, possibly some huge restructuring in banking, and of course that also is indicated by Uranus going into Taurus in May of 2018 until 2025. So I think the banks and the money systems, the military, big pharma, all the big corporations that have been running things, anything that has been lacking integrity, may well come into the open for changes, positive changes to be made. I'm also anticipating a good chance of some really solid leadership. Leaders with integrity, leaders who have a certain ability to bring a sense of security to the people. Because boy, that's sure been lacking for quite some time in many areas. And it's also about maturity. It's maturing. It's an opportunity for us to mature. Every 28, 29 years or so, you go through what is called a Saturn return. So between the ages of 28 and 30, roughly, between the ages of around 57 and 60, these are huge turning points in life where you really grow up. Many of you may be hitting your Saturn return. And these will be important years for you. And also Saturn is important every 7 years roughly. Every 7 years you would get a Saturn square, a Saturn opposition, a Saturn 3/4 square again, and then finally the Saturn return. So every 7 years Saturn comes into play. So it's going to be really important to see where this falls in your chart. You can go to my website, go under reports, get your free report, and look to find the sign Capricorn somewhere on the outside of the wheel, and that will be the house, or houses, it could be 2 houses, that will be affected greatly by this transit. And that's the value of astrology. If you can see which life area is going to be triggered, then you can begin to prepare yourself in a positive way for these big changes ahead. It's also heralding 2020. Since 2008, we've had Pluto in Capricorn. Now, at the end of 2017, Saturn goes into Capricorn. In a year or two, Jupiter joins into Capricorn, and 2020 we get an eclipse in Capricorn, and everything lines up in Capricorn. So we are going to be restructuring our world, our earth, how we use energy, how we treat our earth. All these things are up for a positive restructuring process. So as usual, I'm very interested to hear your comments, your thoughts. I thought this was an important video to share with you sooner rather than later. I know it's not until December that it goes into Capricorn, but nonetheless it's a significant ingress, and I really wanted to share it with you.